Due to my job, I've been able to travel the world, and I've been able to hear and see and experience a lot of scary stuff. Countries like Peru, Guatemala, Mexico, even here in the US, like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of rich, scary stories and a lot of folklore, a lot of legends. And this is just me being nosy. This is me going out for dinner and wherever I'm at and just asking the bartender, asking the waitress, the waiter, hey, tell me something scary about your city. And let me tell you, at first they're like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But once they let loose, let me tell you, boom, scary story after scary story after scary story. If there's anything I love about horror is a good scary story, a good ghost story. Like, tell me a good ghost story. And let me tell you, I got some really good ghost stories for you today. Before I start, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, go grab some snacks, go grab some coffee, and let's have a spooky good time. I'm also wearing my favorite team jersey, LA Galaxy, the one and only LA team. Just letting you guys know, 5 stars, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, anyways, I want to start this tour of ghost stories in Guatemala, which is my father's birthplace, and I spent a lot of time in Guatemala, believe it or not. In my early years, damn, it's crazy saying that. In my earlier years, when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, like my mid-teenage years, I would go and spend my summers there to study music, and I was able to do a lot of cool things, touring, recording, experiencing, you know, rehearsals with big people, so on and so forth. But there's this family I was staying with, and the pastor there loved to tell me crazy stuff, scary stuff. But one night, I remember we were having dinner and everybody left, and it was just me and him talking about music and all that stuff. I asked him, hey, what is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you? He looks at me, he literally grabs his cup of coffee and is like, I don't think you're ready for this, and just sips it. And I'm like, yo, tell me, I'm ready. He's like, all right, sit down. Little did I know, I would not be the same ever since. In Latin culture, there's this thing called duendes, which are like gnomes, elves. I think more like gnomes. But the thing about duendes is that they're not fun, funny, lucky charm, woohoo people. No, they're malevolent. They're evil. They're out to make fun, poke, torment, and even steal your baby child, infant. The one thing that really got me was that he told me that they would go into the stable of his father's farm and they would braid the horse's hair.
Por fin que son los duendes los que se encargan de hacer las famosas trenzas. Muy complejas, de verdad. Alguna vez pude desatar una, pero me demoré más de una hora.
This is freaking crazy. And the reason they know it was them that braided the hair is because the way the braid was done was in a very specific, detailed way that human hands cannot do. So what would they do? They would end up just shaving the horse's hair. And there's so many cases. And the crazy thing is, like, little did I know that this was happening as I was there in these farms, and I didn't know until way after, which scares the hell out of me. There's something about duendes. Latin America has so many legends and stories about duendes. About them going and stealing your kids, your firstborn or your newly born. They go and steal food, they steal money, they go and try to steal your wife. Like, it's crazy. Apparently they're flirts. But the story of the fact that there are videos of this person or the video of horses having their hair braided, that really scares the hell out of me.
Se le dejaba ahí. A veces se las corto y las guardo, ¿no?
I don't know, man, but this coffee slaps today, man. Oh, so good. My mom's from Mexico. I've been there a couple of times, to be honest. I spent more time in Guate. But with that being said, Mexican culture and death are always, they're like a married couple. You know, recently we just did Dia de los Muertos, and I did a really cool photo shoot with this lady named Lupita. But it was awesome. I love culture. I love art. So I had a great time. But Mexican culture and death, it's just something they love to dance with each other. I was touring in Mexico. I was having dinner after a show, and I was just eating. We were just eating, me and the guitar player. And all of a sudden, these people just right across the table or right across from us, they were just talking about death and the devil. And I was just listening, just minding my own business. But the conversation got so good where I was like, hey, tell me more about this. And they were just telling me how the devil likes to visit the streets early in the morning or late at night. He goes around just trying to torment people or to kill people or to steal their souls, to take them to hell, this and that. And if I see a shadow person or a shadow-like person, to just not acknowledge it and just walk around it. If it calls your name, don't respond, this and that. And I was like, sure, whatever. So me and the guitar player finished having dinner. We said our goodbyes. We paid. We left. We started walking. I kid you not, the walk to the hotel was 2 blocks. Nothing. Very simple. Easy walk. And then one of the main streets, there was lights. It was late. It was like probably midnight. But it was, you know, we felt safe. The beach was literally like 200 yards away from us. We can hear the ocean. But as we were walking to the hotel room or to the hotel, right in front of us, we see a man or the silhouette of a man dressed in black with a black hat or a black sombrero or a black black top hat. And we were like, what the heck? And right away I was like, hey man, to the guitar player, do you see that? And he's like, yeah. I was like, what the hell is that? They're like, I don't know. But I thought this figure was walking towards us, but I think it was walking with us. So if we're walking forward, he was walking forward, or it was walking forward. But then I remember that in the shadow people world, or in sleep paralysis terminology, there's this thing called the Hat Man. And you know, he may not be the nicest person, or he may not bring good charm or good health. So when I thought about that, I was like, oh heck no, I ain't gonna want to dance with no shadow man or the Hat Man. Like, I have other things to do. I gotta play tomorrow. We gotta get some sleep. I was more exhausted than scared and a little frustrated that this thing decided to show up. After a couple of minutes, me and the guitar player were like, you know what, let's just sit down. We started sitting, we started talking, and literally there's people walking around it. It's like, I felt like we were the only people that saw this. Again, we were probably exhausted. Our brain probably created this. There was a moment where I just turned, literally, I turned to the opposite side to talk to the guitar player, and as I turned back, shadow person, or this black figure person, disappears. Boom, gone. I was like, what the heck? We went up to look for this person and nothing. We went into the hotel lobby, nothing. We went outside the street, nothing. I even like told them, like, let's walk a couple of blocks down and see if we can find it. Nothing. It's like it showed up to kind of scare us and then disappear. Was it the devil? I don't know. Was it the Hat Shadow Man? I don't know. But that I saw something, and I still remember it to this day, I did. Peru is such a beautiful country. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. I need to go back to Peru, not as a touring musician, not on job or for work. I need to go there and just spend a week or two and hike up to Machu Picchu. I would love to visit Machu Picchu, Cusco, Lima again. And I'd love to do El Camino Inca, which is apparently the jungle aspect to get to Machu Picchu, I think. And it's just a little more dangerous, but you get to see the jungle and all that stuff, which I need to experience that at least once in my life. But Peru, man, y'all have some crazy stories. Y'all have some crazy things happening. One of my favorite stories from Peru and experiences, or let me rephrase it, one of the greatest demonic ghost stories I've ever heard comes out of Peru. And this is about this being called the Jarhacha, which is an incest demon, or an incest baby, or a baby born from incest that became a demon because God cursed it because of what the family was practicing, and goes down to the city and torments the village, or goes around and just scares people. Now, I'm like, haha, so sure, it's not funny, or sure, haha, it's stupid. Look, I don't know what happened that night, but I remember hearing some kind of weird creature screaming late at night. So we dropped off the artist at the airport. My flight left the next morning, so I still had a whole night to spend in Peru. So I told the people that were driving me, hey, take me to get some good food and take me back to my hotel and let's just talk. Sure. So as we got some food and they were taking me to the hotel, they ended up telling me this story about the Jarhacha. The thing is, like, I asked for it. I was like, hey, tell me the scariest story you have. Tell me something really scary. And they're like, oh, I don't know if you're ready for this. Bro, man, my life has changed forever since that day. They're like, okay, well, there's this thing called the Jarhacha. What happens that up in the villages, up in the mountains, so there's not really a lot of families, or there's not a lot of people. What happens that brothers and sisters and family members tend to just, you know, breed amongst themselves. And once their babies are born, God curses that baby because it's born out of incest. And what happens, that baby at night, it just turns into this creature and comes down to the city and just starts to scream and yell. And it looks like a llama dog baby. And people have claimed seeing this. People have videos of this. And I'm just like, what the freak?
Yo te dije, loco, se parece a yo hacía Martín, loco, el que murió. Cierra la puerta, cierra la puerta. No, cierra la puerta. Llama papi. Llama papi, llama papi. Papi, ven que aquí hay una cosa rara, yo no sé qué es. Mira, llámalo, ve. Cierra la puerta. Cierra la puerta. Ay, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío. Mira.
So I get to the hotel lobby and I'm like, hey, thank you so much, this and that, grab my food. Scared. I'm scared off my mind because it was dark. And where I was staying at is called El Pueblo, which is pretty much a hotel that's not like a building, but it's bungalows spread out in like a villa, which is beautiful, but at night it's scary. I walked into the lobby and I was like, hey, you know where my hotel room is? Like, oh yeah, it's over here. And I'm like, can you walk me? Because I just don't remember. In reality, I was scared. And as she was walking me, I started to hear some kind of screaming. And I was like, it's my imagination. But as I was walking, I looked to my left where the lady was. She stayed like probably 3 feet behind me. And I'm like, what's wrong? And then she just turned pale and I hear this scream again, this very weird, crazy scream. And the lady's like, Jarhacha. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And I hear this scream just getting closer. And I was like, look, Jarhacha or not, there's something coming. It could be a creature, it could be an animal, it could be a crazy person, it could be a demon, but we can't stay here. I grabbed her and I started running through this dense, foresty kind of villa, trying to look for my room. Eventually I found my room. I get us in there, close the door. And I was like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, oh, call front desk. So I was like, you know, and again, like Spanish is not my first language. I can speak Spanish very fluently, but it's not the Spanish I grew up speaking. So they're saying words and I'm like, I don't understand you, lady. So somehow I ended up calling the front desk and she like takes the phone. She's like, it's okay, I'm better now. Calls the front desk, security comes, picks her up. They knock on the door first and open the door. I open the door. I'm like, hey, like, oh, hey. And you know, we're like in my living room. We're all just talking. Ha ha ha. This happened. Scary, scary, scary. A little nervous, but you know, we're trying to see the bright side of it. And as they were leaving, I'm like, it's not like it wasn't actually the jarhacha, right? This demon thing. And all three of them at the same time were like, no, it is. And I'm like, God darn it. Gosh darn it. Crap, 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 crap. That was probably the first and last time, 2016, November of 2016, that I locked myself in the hotel bathroom, ate my food, and slept in the tub. I kid you not. I locked all the doors, turned off the lights in the actual living area, and I slept in the bathroom with the lights on because I was so freaking scared. And to this day is one of my favorite stories to tell. Seriously. All right, one more story before I go. Again, Peru. One of the... Oh. Hello? Yo. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be out right now. I'm literally vlogging in my room. I'll be there in 2 seconds. Yeah, bye-bye. All right, y'all. Well, I guess I'm gonna leave that story for another day. If you want a part 2 of these ghost story touring stories, or these ghost touring stories, or these scary touring stories, leave a comment, like this video, and let me know if you want more stories. And if you have experienced anything crazy like this, let me know. All right, love you guys. God bless. Be safe. Stay spooky, and enjoy all the vlogs I do as well. Bye.